This is Senator Gene Yaw. Welcome to a conversation with Gene Yaw. And today we're going to take a train trip on the North Shore Railroad. Welcome aboard. We're on the customer appreciation tour for the North Shore Railroad, I think is the official title of all the short lines in this area. And I'm with Todd Hunter, who's the Director of Marketing. Todd, what caused you to put this event together today?
Well, I always say there's no better way to get people to show people the railroad than to get them out on the railroad, and it's always a lot of fun. It's a captive audience. Everyone's in the car and can socialize and chat, and our customers appreciate seeing the world from our side of things. We deal with the customers every day on placing cars and responding to their needs, so it kind of gives them a little window into our world.
I guess we talk about customer appreciation, but I know, can you give us a little bit of background how the rail industry has grown here in central Pennsylvania, and especially for the North Shore Railroad?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. The North Shore Railroad started almost 29 years ago by Dick Roby, and I have to go back a little further in history than that. In the 70s, the railroad industry as a whole, particularly in the Northeast, was in very bad shape. And many of the eastern railroads were declaring bankruptcy, so the federal government stepped in to form Conrail to try to salvage the industry. And one of the things Conrail did was consolidate a lot of redundant lines. And Conrail recognized that some of the low-density branch lines didn't fit with their business model. And they recognized that a short line operator could take a local branch line that wasn't viable for them and rejuvenate it and make it a thriving business once again that ultimately would bring them business. And that and the Staggers Act of 1980 were the two watershed things that caused our industry to grow dramatically. The industries in the area depend on rail service, and we think we do a very good job at providing the local rail service. Retail railroading is what I like to call it.
How many customers do you service in this area?
About 125 customers, and we're very diverse. We're very lucky that no customer has more than 10% of our business. So people say, what do we carry? I always say it's easier to say what we don't carry. We don't do coil steel, we don't do new automobiles, and we don't do piggyback. Outside of that, we serve food manufacturers, chemical plants, paper mills, steel mills, bulk transloaders, and not least of which is the Marcellus Shale industry. We have a lot of activity with that industry now.
Has the Marcellus Shale industry caused the business to increase?
Rather dramatically. Pre-Marcellus Shale, we were 65 employees. We're now 100. We've gone from mostly a daylight operation to almost a 24/7 operation, and last year there was almost 7 miles of new tracks and sidings added to the rail network, particularly in the Williamsport area, to keep up with the demand for rail service for that industry. And one of the things we're real proud of is that even with this onslaught of Marcellus Shale related business, our existing customers that have nothing to do with Marcellus Shale are still enjoying the same service they did pre-Marcellus Shale. We're quite proud of that.
What kind of service do you provide for the Marcellus Shale industry?
Well, it's the same for any customer. All we provide is a service. We don't make anything. We just move stuff around, and it happens to be on rails. In Marcellus Shale specifically, the largest commodity is frac sand. Most of that sand comes from the upper Midwest, some of it from South Jersey. It's a very specific grade and type of sand. And the gas drilling industry needs a large amount of sand to conduct their fracturing operations. And one of the things we do is the cars come in here in large blocks, and then we distribute them to the terminals sorted by grade and by customer as needed.
My understanding is that every railroad car sand that comes in here is about 4 tractor trailer loads. So in effect, by hauling it in on rail, we take 4 tractor trailers off the highway, at least for this part, to get it in here to central Pennsylvania.
Yeah, absolutely. On bulk commodities, it is a 4-to-1 ratio on a bulk commodity rail versus truck. And I usually double that number because you have the empty truck trip also. But yeah, the advantage of that is the local delivery is happening by truck. The long distance delivery is not on our interstates and not on our local roads.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm with Gary Shields, the president of North Shore Railroad. And Gary, this is a customer appreciation tour, and what's the incentive to do this? Why are you doing it today? What did you have in mind? What do you hope to accomplish?
First of all, we're very proud of the railroad and are delighted to showcase the railroad and our employees and how they've grown the business. But also we want to share that growth opportunity with our very important partners, of course our customers, elected officials, the Norfolk Southern Railroad, who has helped us significantly, and just share that growth, that phenomenal growth that we've had over these last several years.
Gary, I know that there have been some comments made about things that you do or the railroad does for the community, and I know one that I'm aware of is the train called the Polar Express, which is run for in the winter time around Christmas time. So,
correct.
Could you talk about some of those things?
Actually, Senator, we provide the train crews, the locomotives, the fuel, the track inspection, free of charge for the event sponsor. We do not provide the passenger cars; they're provided by a private party.
Okay.
But we do that, and throughout the year we provide that for 20 service days a year for a number of sponsors throughout the service area that we provide service to. And it's 20 service days we provide from Bellefonte to Catawissa to Williamsport, and the 20 service days is provided free of charge by us. And the reason we do that, because that's part of our mission statement with our company, to be a responsible civic partner to the communities that we serve, and we do that because it's we think it's very strongly in supporting the community.
What kind of things? I know the one I am familiar with, as I said, is the Polar Express. What other kind of events like that do you do?
Well, this past summer, over the 4th of July parade at Lewisburg, we provided train service for about 700 passengers. We did that for free, and that was to recognize Union County's 200th anniversary, as well as the 4th of July parade that they put on in Lewisburg.
I'm very, very familiar with that program, that whole this year I think it was Veterans, or
yes,
that's the way they bill it. It's Veterans Parade.
Correct.
What other ideas, is there a Halloween parade too, or a train? Or does somebody, ran in my mind, somebody did a Halloween train?
Well, this weekend there's two service days up here in Williamsport for a Halloween train, both in Williamsport from Burger King down at Maynard Street, and again that's one of our opportunities for us to provide the locomotives and the crews and all that sort of thing for the Halloween train.
Well, is that part of your mission?
Yes, it is part of our mission statement.
Thank you. I mean, those are fascinating, and I know that I've done the Polar Express with my grandchildren a couple of times. So that's been.
You're going to ride the locomotive. I'll get you in the locomotive. That's it.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Jack Schultz from Jersey Shore Steel, and you're on this customer appreciation ride. What do you can you tell me about your relationship with the Lycoming Valley Railroad or the North Shore Railroad and its importance to Jersey Shore Steel?
The railroad is crucial to Jersey Shore Steel.
Why is that?
Gene, well, our material, the very large majority of our material is delivered to us by rail, and we ship a smaller portion by rail, but as far as delivery is concerned, delivering our material, it's just crucial. We could, the material that we receive, of course, is old railroad rails. It's very heavy, and it's suitable. The most economic way to move that material is by rail, and we source material from all over the eastern part of the United States and Canada as well. So moving that material economically is crucial to our viability. The North Shore, the Lycoming Valley Railroad in particular, we thought we died and went to heaven when they took over for Conrail. They're so easy to deal with. They meet our needs on a daily basis if necessary. Conrail would come up once or twice a week if we were fortunate. If our needs are more than that, with Conrail, it was too bad for us. With the Lycoming Valley Railroad, they meet our needs whatever they are.
Well, you answered one of the questions I was going to ask. During a time when railroads was really, when they were gone down, what did your company do then? I mean, were you at the mercy of the larger railroads, or did you bring in your raw material by truck? How'd you get it here?
Yeah, a lot of material came by truck, but we were really at the mercy of the railroads, and it was much more difficult. We carried larger amounts of inventory because the deliveries were not as consistent and reliable as they are with the Lycoming Valley Railroad. So it was more difficult. It was more challenging.
I know that your business, you actually use as feedstock old rails, which you buy literally all over the world, and bring them in here. And could you give just for the idea of my own edification, I mean, how many pounds do you use a year? How many, I guess tons would be a better description.
Yeah, right now, as far as our annual consumption of raw material, really our sales of finished goods, we sell about 50 to 55,000 tons of finished product a year. So we need maybe 55 to 60,000 tons of gross tons of rails. Now that's actually down from what we were a few years ago.
Does all that come in by rail?
The vast majority of it comes in by rail, yes.
It sounds to me like without rail, you would have a tough time surviving in your business.
Yeah, absolutely. Without rail, we would have a difficult time surviving. Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate talking to you.
Thank you for your help.
I'm with David Schultz, and David, we just went through the rail yard that you supervise, I guess, for Jersey Shore Steel. And what was the incentive behind doing that or building it? Because I know the last time I was there, there was nothing there, and now it's full of pipe and poles and everything like that. What was the incentive to go ahead and do that project?
Well, thanks. It was an abandoned rail yard, abandoned by Conrail, and what brought Jersey Shore Steel to that yard was the need for heavy infrastructure. As you spoke with my father, we move steel in and out 50,000 tons a year. We really rely on rail. That type of infrastructure supports the Marcellus shale gas initiatives and many businesses in our area. So that was really the spark that provided the impetus for us to go after that type of development. Now we have over 10 tenants in the yard.
Well, I think that you probably benefited from the fact that the Newberry yard, where we originally left from today, they're maxed out. They have no more land left. So you had land, and it's apparently served a purpose.
Absolutely. It's been a wonderful partnership with the railroad.
Well, we've seen pictures of the poles and all the pipe that's there, and it looks to me like you're very, very, very busy.
Yes, we really are. We're in the middle of a project continuing to expand and reinforce the yard now with additional timbers.
Well, good luck and good success.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm with Jay Alexander, who's the general manager of the Wayne Township landfill, and we've been talking about the importance and how rail fits into what they're doing at their landfill. And Jay, what do you have planned for rail service?
We've developed a rail yard going into our facility in Macklehattan with the main concept in mind of being able to ship trash, municipal waste, household trash in 50 cubic yard enclosed containers. So there'd be 4 of them on a rail car hauling about 100 tons at a time, which is equal to 5 or 6 trucks per rail car taken off the road. And that would ship trash from somewhere probably over 150 miles away via rail right into the facility, and then remove all those trucks off the road.
Well, I know one of the things that we see, anybody that travels on interstate highway, is you see trash trucks. I mean, it's a necessary part of our life, and we have to dispose of it. And I know that your landfill does it in a big way. What other benefits do you see of running a rail siding into that area where your landfill is located?
We're located right in Macklehattan, which is in the Clinton County Industrial Park. So we have customers or potential customers like First Quality and Brodart, Trucklight, all of which want to have some form of rail access right there at their facilities in Macklehattan. So we built the rail yard to offer that to them. They employ 1,500 to 2,000 people there in Macklehattan, so we want to do our part to try and help that growth continue and keep those jobs there.
Good. Thank you. I know that you work for Williamsport Wire Rope Works.
Correct.
And we recently did a tour of that plant. I know that there's a lot of heavy equipment there, cables and everything like that. How does that company interrelate with the railroad? How do you use the railroad?
Right now, our main source of the railroad is projects, mainly offshore drilling rigs that we supply down in Houston area and out of Washington, the state of Washington.
Well, I know one of the things everybody talks about is that Wire Rope made the cable that Nick Walenda walked across the Grand Canyon on. So that's one. So obviously that's something that was made here locally and has, I guess, international fame at this point. So I assume that was shipped out by rail.
As a matter of fact, that was shipped by truck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he supplied the transportation for that.
Oh, did he? He supplied it. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you ship out? I've noticed the big spools that you have are that weigh, many, many tons. How do you ship those out? Do they go by truck or rail?
Most of it goes by truck, double drops. Anything that goes like 70 to 100,000 pound goes rail.
So the larger pieces all go by rail.
Correct.
What about the products, the raw materials that come in?
We used to receive a lot of our rod by rail back in the Bethlehem Steel days, but since then, since we downsized, we bring it in by truck out of St. Lawrence, Quebec, Canada, and Cleveland, Ohio.
I think that the rail is trying to make a pitch to get wire rope to use more rail.
Correct. Yeah, I've been talking to Todd Hunter, and we're working on bringing inbound rod by rail again.
Well, I don't think there's any question about it. Rail has really had a resurgence in this area from what it was even when I was growing up around here.
Correct. I see rail coming back pretty strong. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good to talk to you.
Thank you.
I'm with Jeff Stover from the Sedacock Joint Rail Authority. And Jeff, how long ago was the authority formed?
This year will be 30 years. It was formed in 1983. Originally started by 5 central Pennsylvania counties. Now it's up to 8. And Lycoming County is one of the member counties.
What was the incentive and why? Who came up with the idea of doing this, or what was the need that needed to be filled?
Back in the early 80s, Conrail, which had most of the rail lines in central Pennsylvania, was given the ability to abandon lines more quickly than they had previously. They were given that right by Congress. And so we had a lot of industries in the region that were facing abandonments of some of their short line or branch lines, and they were looking for ways to try to preserve service, and that's how the authority was created. And they decided early on that let's get the lines, we'll own them locally, but let's get a private operator to come in and operate them professionally.
So the way this is set up, it's kind of complicated at first, I guess. We have Sedacock, which is the Council of Governments, and then we have the Joint Rail Authority, which is part of Sedacock, and then you have a private operator, which is the North Shore Railroad, and we talked to the president, Gary Shields.
Right. Well, Sedacock Council of Governments actually is a community and economic development regional agency. It's been around for many years, and they were involved working with the shippers groups when they were first facing those abandonments. What happened was actually the Sedacock Joint Rail Authority is a separate municipal authority, just like a water or sewer authority, made up of these counties. Actually, the authority itself doesn't have any employees. They actually contract with Sedacock Council of Governments to provide. We have about 2 employees, and then of course they own now the real estate, the track itself, and a operating agreement is in place to bring in a professional private operator to actually run the rail service, maintain the track, market the service.
Well, I know that over the past few years, this whole concept of the rails, and especially the Joint Rail Authority, it has expanded, I think, beyond what anybody ever anticipated. So it's been a successful relationship.
Oh, absolutely. I think that the public-private partnership has been great. We work well with the counties and municipalities, but also, more importantly, with our shippers. And we had a survey just about a year ago of all the customers just to see how our operator was doing, and we had a 100% satisfaction of all the customers, which is pretty darn good. You can't really get better than that.
Yeah, I don't know how you would get better than that. What plans are in the works, or do you have any idea what the plans are to expand, if you have any?
Well, actually, as far as we're not really going to expand aerially, but we're just continuing to enhance the system, build new tracks. Within the last 5 years, actually, we've been involved with $43 million worth of new projects, capital projects. The operator handles the day-to-day maintenance, and we're kind of charged with doing the capital improvements. But we're not doing that alone. We're doing it in concert with our customers. Well, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania has been great. PennDOT is a leader, been recognized as a leader for decades in supporting rail freight, because any improvements in rail freight usually translates into jobs and economic development.
You mentioned that there were 5 counties that originally started. What 5 counties were they?
They were Center, Northumberland, Montour, Columbia, and Union.
Lycoming County wasn't a part of the original one.
No, they were, at the time in the early 80s, none of their lines were being abandoned. They came in 1996.
And then I think we're missing 2. Who were the other 2 then of the 8?
Clinton and then Mifflin were added.
Okay, so today we've been in Lycoming and Clinton so far today. And I don't know where the train started, probably in Northumberland.
Well, this morning they probably were in Northumberland, but the Lycoming Valley Railroad, centered in Lycoming County, is not the longest railroad we have, but it's got the most business.
It sounds like a real success story to me.
We think so, and I think most of the region has probably been benefited from this partnership.
Thank you. This is Senator Gene Yaw. Thanks for coming along for the ride.